All right, on this episode of the LPDS, we get into the live stream, how that went. I discuss the latest and greatest of dating app response trends, profile trends I'm seeing for all the indoor cats out there. I apologize ahead of time because I got bad allergy attacks and I've been dealing with that. And I share a little story in the Junction of the circus act that is the life of Libretti. All that plus a great cage fact coming at you right now. All right, Jabronis, we're back. Welcome back to the Libretti Podcast Diary Show. I'm your host, Libretti, a show that talks about nothing but tries to find the lessons in everything. We have a good time doing it. Hope everybody had a good week. Just to give you guys a heads up, if you're not watching in YouTube land, a couple of things here quick. First, this is the allergy game. Basically, once a year around this time, I have to record an episode where I am completely incapacitated by allergies. The timeline of my allergy effects, incapacitation, if you will, continues to shrink. It's, when I first got down here, it was like the whole summer almost, and now it's only usually like a week or two. But I am in shambles today. I didn't want to record, not because I don't like doing this, because I didn't want to do anything today. I go outside, I sneeze 55 times, my eyes swell up. It's a real problem. None of the medication's working today. It's just one of those high pollen days. So I apologize in advance for that because I don't like doing it for a number of reasons, especially if I have to sniffle or anything. It's annoying in the mic. It's disgusting. It's deplorable. I don't like doing that. I don't like people having to listen to that. It's not right, and I apologize. But the show must go on. If there's anything we learn here, it's that we don't quit. We keep firing. We keep pushing. We keep staying strong. So that's what we're gonna do. The second thing is because of my laziness today, I did not move any of the streaming stuff to the normal LPDS studio in the compound here. So I am in my living room. Excuse me. I'm in my living room where I left the streaming, command center up and running so that we can stream for the next Yankee game that we're going to be doing. So if you're mad about the location, I apologize, but I'm not too, it's whatever. I did it in my parents' basement for months, so you guys will be okay. All right, I don't have a lot to discuss today. I want to share a funny story, which I'm sure a bunch of you have already seen on Instagram a little bit. I'll get into that in the Junction. But first things first, just a friendly reminder that there's wars and distractions and bullcrap going on all over the place. And yet still no justice for the Epstein victims. So that's all I'm going to say about it this week, but it's just a friendly reminder, week by week, those files are still out there. There's still millions of documents that have not been released yet for some reason or another, and they're not doing anything about it. And these are the people running our world and in our movies and doing all those things that we say we like, yet that's what's happening. Anyway, I'm a broken record. I hate it. We're just going to move on. If anybody tuned into the stream, thank you. I thought it was a great experience, a great live stream, especially for the first time. I had a lot of fun doing it. I was pleasantly surprised by the amount of people that that tuned in, and also a lot of you stuck around the whole game too. Uh, I always expect the LPDS ride or dies. You guys are always going to tune in and support no matter what, even if it's for a minute or two. But I was prepared for our no viewer situation. I know people have life going on. It was a night game on, what was it, Friday? So I know Friday nights people want to go do stuff sometimes, and they can't always be around. They have families, whatever, what have you. So I was fully expecting or prepared for, just a solo stream, just me talking to myself. So I was thankful and grateful for the people that tuned in. The comments were going crazy. It was great, and I think we had fun. There was a little bit of a delay situation going on between the game and the commentary and the stream. I think I improved it a little bit, but I got to find better ways to improve it so that there's less lag, because if you're trying to pay attention to the game and then listen to the stream, you don't want it to be delayed. I think at one point it was like 45 seconds to a minute delay, which was bad. If I can get that, below 10 seconds, below 5 seconds, we'll be okay. We'll be in a way better situation. I have to do some more digging and research to see if that's something that streamers are able to combat, or if they understand that there's always going to be a lag and delay if they're streaming games like that. I'm not exactly sure how they figured it out yet, but we'll get to the bottom of that and make it a better experience for it. But I did just want to say thank you to all you ride or dies out there that showed up, and even the ones that stuck around too. Even the ones that can only pop in for a quick minute and had to go do other stuff. Really appreciate it. There was several of you who also reached out that you were working shifts and you couldn't actually come in to see it live, but wanted to, weren't thinking about it, and brought it to my attention. So I appreciate you guys even remembering. So we're gonna keep doing them. I think that's a potential rocket ship. Like I said, I had a lot of fun interacting with people live. It's a great way to connect. I think it's an even better way to connect than this, because we can't do it live. I'm going to figure out how to eventually do live Zoom calls. I got to check again my computer's like bandwidth capabilities and stuff like that to be able to do that, and then test it out a little bit to see how it works. We'll get some people calling in. I know the Creature wants to come and do some in-house guest spots, so that would be awesome to have that experience go on, and we can also do comments and stuff like that. It would be tremendous if I can get to the point where I'm getting some income from it, because I have this plan of having additional computer setup so that I can do even more with it. I could put up like a little score bug of my own, some stats maybe, things like that, but I don't have the technology right now to do that. And my income is my finances are already budgeted out to other stuff, mainly Spearhead stuff and my mortgage. So we'll get there eventually. But I'm excited for the future of this. The next one is going to be, by the time this episode posts this week, Friday, the home opener, April 3rd. It's an afternoon game. I think it's 1:35 Eastern time, 12:35 Central, where I'm at in Texas. So keep a lookout on Facebook and Instagram for the information on that, the link on the YouTube. We're streaming on YouTube. That's where we're going to stick around for a while. So far, so good. I haven't gotten any copyright dings yet, so we should be good there, hopefully. Fingers crossed. But I really enjoyed it. I had a good time. The time flew by, honestly. It was a 2 hour and 50-minute stream, something like that. And it didn't feel like that at all. I was able to take some breaks, commercial breaks, interacted with the chat a little bit, and the Yanks won. So it was a good time. So stay tuned for the future of that. And if you have any other ideas for it or feedback at all, feel free to send them my way. You can call the hotline too if you want, 202-670-1114. We might try to do something like that, like a live hotline. Just call my cell, and I could probably put the phone, if you're watching in YouTube land, I could put the speaker right by the mic here so we can hear it and kind of go from there. We'll see how that works. I've seen other podcasts do that. I don't know about live streams if it works as well. So we'll see how it goes. All right, moving on. Before we get into the good stuff, I just want to make everybody alert of the newest, latest dating app trend. It's been unveiled, and I don't know where it's coming from. And I'm not trying to dog on anybody's endurance or physical abilities. It's just a little out of left field, in my opinion. And it's the trend of this year. This is usually what the prompt is. On the dating apps, the prompt is like, this year I really want to ... and then you fill in what you really want to do. And there is an overwhelming, resounding response rate of, this year I really want to run a half marathon or run a marathon, sign up for a marathon. One of the two. Obviously, one is significantly farther than the other. It's a double. A full marathon is a double, half marathon. Shocker how that worked. But either way, those are significant endeavors, as you know. As we know here at the LPDS. I've done both. This is not a brag, but they're tough. 13.1 miles for a half marathon is still tough. And again, I am not dogging on people's abilities. Sticks did a half marathon. He trained for a couple and did them. 2 or 3, I think he did. So it's definitely possible. It's just strange how all of a sudden every woman in this area, Texas, wants to do a half marathon or a full marathon. Especially here in Texas, because you could basically only do it like 1 month a year when it's cool enough out. Because you do a marathon in the summer or even in any other time of year around here, except for that 1 month where it's actually cold enough, it's a miserable time. And I think I talked about this in the past. When I was doing marathon training, I remember distinctly, this is the first marathon I ran. It was 2017. And I was doing my training runs. The one weekend, I had to do 12 miles. And the next weekend, I had to do a 13-mile training run. And the 12-mile run, I smoked. It was in D.C., and I smoked it. I think I ran like a record pace on my mile times around the National Mall there, and it was great. It was like probably like 60 degrees out, and I cruised through it. The next week, I was in the middle of Texas. We were there for a wedding for a buddy, Tom Amansky, and I had to knock out my training run. So actually, my brother Bonji, he was at the wedding too. He was also training for the same race, and we got to Texas, and that was the plan, was do the training run and then go to like the rehearsal dinner or whatever we had to do that night. And it was 96 degrees out. And it took me about 3.5 hours to do it. I was dying. We were struggling around that. There was no shade. Luckily, we were running around a strip mall, so we can stop in the Target and grab Powerades. I must have done that 5 times and just was crushing Powerades. And the week prior, I did 12 miles. It was 1 mile less, and I did it in like 2 hours and 20 minutes. Like I said, I was blazing through it. Maybe it was even less. I don't remember. Might have been 2 hours flat. I don't know. I was flying through it, and it took me an extra hour and a half plus. And they say like every 10 degrees is like 2 to 3 minutes off I don't exactly remember what it is, but as it gets warmer, you get slower because your body heats up faster and you're burning more energy to make up for it, and you're getting tired faster, and it's miserable. So all that's to say is I don't know where the popularity of half marathons and full marathons came about here in Texas with the ladies anyway, but that's it. Everybody wants to run a half marathon this year. That's the goal for 2026 down here in Texas for the ladies, is to run a half marathon. Like I said, good on them. I just don't buy that every single one of you wants to do it. That's all. And it's probably the same for the men too. I'm sure the men are using the same trending responses, the same ChatGPT responses. Because I've noticed, I've seen some videos out there on social media where women will post the screenshots from their dating app profile, like when they see people's responses, and they'll make these clips of like guys all saying the same thing, and a lot of it is similar to what I'm seeing from the women's side. It's the same responses. So I guess we're all going, men and women are going to the same AI program or dating coach or whatever to get these copy paste responses. Except for me, of course, because I'm out of the loop, apparently. And maybe, I don't know if I need to get in the loop. It seems like these people are also not getting dates, so I don't feel as bad about it, but I feel left out almost, at least on the conversation. At least bring me into the fold so I can make the decision myself whether I want to copy paste or not. But I don't know where these guys are getting this stuff from. Everyone wants to do a half marathon. You have to train in the worst time of the year to do these races in Texas. It's miserable. You want to be dating at the same time? No, I didn't. I was a miserable human being during training. I tried to date. Didn't work out well. I feel bad for those ladies. They did not get my 100% at all. So, anyway, that's the latest trend. I keep all you indoor cats posted on what us outdoor cats are doing with the latest trends, but there you go. Anyway, let's get into the good stuff. Let's just keep this train rolling quickly. Like I said, I don't want to be on here too long and subject you to allergy game. I even have the hat on facing forward so I can dim the lights a little bit. So I didn't want to wear shades so you guys can see my pink eye looking eyeballs, my weird looking pussy eyeballs. Sorry, T Family Show. But let's just get into the good stuff. Let's step into the cage.
Okay, let's run.
All right. Today's Into the Cage segment is proudly sponsored by Cheeseburger Fingers. Picture this, fatties. You're jonesing for some fast food once again, so you pull up your Uber Eats app to order your go-to burger meal and wash it down with some chicken nuggies. But now instead of ordering two separate items, you can have it all in one shot. That's what Tony Riggs and his band of merry men are bringing to you now with the Cheeseburger Fingies. Bite into what looks like a fried chicken sandwich, only to realize there's a juicy, delicious burger patty in the middle. Don't ask Tony how he did it this time. Just cough up your money now so you can take yourself to Burger Fingy heaven and your heart to blockage hell. So to get your sausage fingers around the cheeseburger finger today, head on over to your local Bob's Big Boy, and if you use the promo code FILLETOFFINGIES, you'll get 29% off your first cheeseburger finger. It never stops. The train never stops. With Tony Riggs' idea, this is a gold mine. This is an absolute gold mine. You want to talk about going to the moon? You want to talk about a rocket ship? Finger every food item. I'm telling you, people will eat it. Go to any county fair, carnival, fast food joint, Chuck E. Cheese. You'll be a monster hit. Good for Tony. Anyway, the Cage Fact. As we start getting closer to Spider-Man Noir stuff, the release in May, Nic Cage is doing more and more interviews and public appearances to start to keep promoting it. I wish he did something like Kevin James did with the movie Solo Mio, where he created the Instagram account, the TikTok of Matt Taylor, and took us on that ride. But this is a TV series, so it's a little different. He can build the character throughout the series. But in a recent interview we did, I think it was with Esquire, and there's a lot of good stuff in that interview, so there'll be more Cage Facts from that, I imagine. He mentioned that, as I'm getting an allergy attack here. Stand by. All right, we're back. Sorry about that, folks. He was asked what he did to help prepare for the role, and he said that he channeled Humphrey Bogart and Bugs Bunny for the role. Now, he went into further detail on what he meant by that. He didn't just leave us hanging, which, by the way, if he did, it would have been even more gold, but that's okay. But he said that he used a lot of Humphrey Bogart because he was in all these black and white noir style films. And the thing about Humphrey Bogart is you can argue whether you thought he was a good actor or not. A lot of people say that he was an overrated actor, but he always stood out from every other character in the movie, not just because he was a leading role, but because he was just he just was different than everybody else. He always had this sort of like cartoonish aura about him a little bit. Not in a negative way, not in a silly, childish way, but just this is not a normal human being. This guy is somewhere else while the rest of us humans are over here in the crowd. And then he liked the sarcasm and the slapstick of Bugs Bunny. So he said what he did was he took Mel Blanc, who played Bugs Bunny, who created Bugs Bunny, and he said it was like he was like playing Mel Blanc pretending to be Humphrey Bogart. So he said 70% Bogart, 30% Bugs in the movie. And don't forget, he's playing the character as a spider in a human body trying to make everybody believe that he's a human and not really a spider in there. So all that combined is what he's doing. You want to talk about getting into a character, bringing something to the table that nobody else has done. And we're talking about Spider-Man here. There have been plenty of Spider-Mans out there, movie-wise, and actors. And so you could say this is copy-paste. You could just be like Tom Holland Spider-Man. He's a great Spider-Man. But no, he's like, nah, I'm going to be my own Spider-Man. So 70% Bogart, 30% Bugs. It comes out in May. Very exciting. Stay tuned for that. I'm looking forward to it. Anyway, that's the Cage fact for you. You're welcome. All right, moving over to the Junction. We'll spin the logo up. I want to share a story of a blunder. Some would call it a rookie mistake. I call it a calculated risk that eventually caught up to me. And like I said, some of you have probably already seen the quick video I posted on Instagram about it. But I had a kitchen blunder this past week. I'm trying to figure out the best way to set the tone. So during the week, when it comes to meals for me, as I think you guys know already, I probably belabored this point to exhaustion already. But during the week, I am food is fuel mindset. It's just protein source, it's macros, it's to get me the fuel I need to get through the week. During the weekend is where I'll let it go a little bit because I do love food. I'm not one of those people where it's like I don't have taste buds and food is only fuel. It's just a sustained life. I don't enjoy or anything. No, I love food, but I try to stay disciplined. 90% healthy, organic, whole type foods, and then 10%, as Sticks calls it, treat yourself, self-treat, naughty time in the food department. So I try to stick to that as often as possible. It helps keep my mind, body, and soul healthy, keeps my physique, and keeps me, strong and healthy overall. But again, during the week, it's sustenance. So I don't mind eating the same thing for every meal, and it's bland and it's plain and it's whatever. And as you know, I eat the same meal every day throughout the week. It's eggs, a slice of bacon, some fruit, and coffee for breakfast. It's shredded chicken for lunch, and it's ground beef for dinner. And what I'll do is I'll mix that up a little bit. Sometimes I'll have ground beef. I'll make like a little burger bowl. Ground beef with some shredded cheddar in there, what have you. Sometimes I'll make like a white trash Italian bolognese, if you will, where I'll mix in some sauce and cheese into the ground beef and make it like a bolognese without the pasta kind of thing. I'll change it up every once in a while, but it's the same thing. It's ground beef for dinner. I also give a little extra ground beef to Randy for at least one of his meals in the morning because his metabolism is so high, he burns calories like crazy. He eats almost the same amount as me, calorie wise, and he's half my weight, less than that. He just burns through it. So, in the morning, I'll give him his food bowl, and then I'll add a little bit of ground beef for him. So I'll make ground beef in bulk. I make the chicken in bulk on the crock pot, but I'll make ground beef in bulk. And the easiest way for me to do that, the best way for me to do that, is in a big pan, and I put it in the oven. It's like a bake. It's really not. I was doing it on the stovetop, but it required too much constant attention, and the oven is just easier for me, so I can go do other stuff while it's cooking, and then I break it up after. And the pan I use it's not my cast iron. My cast iron is not big enough to cook the 3 pounds of beef I make for the week or for the bulk cook. So I don't want to have to, extend the time and do it extra by using that smaller cast iron pan. So I use this other pan. It's not a Teflon, but it's not cast iron. It's not stainless steel. It's a garbage pan overall. But I've had it since before I even knew everybody here in the LPDS and the Brotherhood, basically. Before I knew Wet Cat, Bonji, Bone Crusher, Creature, all of them. I got this pan in 2006, 2007, sophomore year of college. So I know this pan inside and out. I know its capabilities. I've used it on the stovetop, in an oven for almost 20 years now. And I used it still every week for my bulk cooking of ground beef. So this was no different. I set the oven 430 degrees, pop it in, and when it's done, I check it like once or twice to break up, make it ground beef instead of a giant 3-pound Berg Daddy. And then I take it out and I strain out all the fat and grease and oil from the burger meat. And there we go. Easy peasy. Well, this time around, for some reason, it all went to hell. I go to pull this thing out. Mind you, it was a last-minute check. So it wasn't necessarily turn the oven off, let it cool, then pull it out and do what I got to do. I pulled it out with the oven still on because I wanted to check to make sure it was fully cooked and ready to rock and roll. It was, so I go to pull it out of the oven, left hand, and put it on top of the stovetop. And while I'm doing that, I'm about to turn the oven off. So I'm pulling it up, go to press the button, and then the handle breaks. It's a separate handle from the pan. It's a screw-on handle. It's not like a cast iron where it's just one solid piece of iron. Handle snaps off. The pan drops down, and luckily only like 25% of the ground beef and grease splatter everywhere. It looked like 100% of it. Like the way it ended up, it was literally everywhere in my kitchen. Flames everywhere. As soon as it hits the flame in the oven, flames. Not an explosion, but just fireball. I get the oven off. The flame goes away. Stand by. I got another allergy attack here, folks. All right, we're back. I'm having a hard time even concentrating on the story. It's already boring as shit because I'm trying to prevent sneezes and itches and what have yous, and it's a mess. I apologize. Anyway, I get the oven off, so the flame goes away, the fire goes out naturally. And what I'm left with is a broken pan that happened to fall on its bottom. So I salvaged 75% of the ground beef stayed in the pan. And then there was grease, ground beef splattered everywhere else on the oven door, into the oven on both levels of the grates, oil against the walls. It was seeping down the bottom floor of the oven into the bread drawer, that heat up drawer, whatever you want to call it. I just store other pans in there. And then there was splatter of oil and grease all over the floor, the kitchen floor, on my island, the cabinets around the whole area, everywhere. There was ground beef in between the oven door and the oven itself in that crease there. Just an absolute nightmare situation. Now I go immediately into solution mode because I can't get myself down. I can't just get pissed and call it a night because I have to figure out what to do. I need food. I need to eat dinner. That was my dinner starting that night. And I need to figure out how to clean this mess before it becomes too late. The problem with it all is a lot of problems with it. First, I can't get in there to clean out the oven or even get between the door and the oven and the oven itself to get out all the ground beef and stuff inside there or on the door itself because I just turned the oven off. It was 430 degrees in there. Okay? I would have burned up like Terminator and Terminator 2 when he goes into the lava at the end with thumbs up down into the lava. Sad scene. Couldn't do that. I had to wait for the oven to cool down. But as the oven cools down, the grease starts to solidify and congeal, and whatever the term is to when it coagulates and solidifies, and then it's an even bigger pain in the ass to clean up after that. Because you have to just basically let it soak in soap for the soap to break apart the grease and the fat. What is the term they use? What is the term? It's not coagulate. It is emulsifier. Soap is an emulsifier. It needs time to do that with cold grease, cold fat, cold oil, what have you. So I have to be in solution mode immediately to clean up what I can while the oven cools, and then deal with that, adapt and deal with that as needed. Plus, I have to also save the good ground beefs to make sure I have food. So I do that. I pick up the pan. I get some oven mitts on. I pick up the broken pan, which is basically like a glorified dish at that point, and I go and take care of that beef. Let that do its thing, where I sift out the oil and what have you. And then I have to start cleaning, so I glove up naturally. But here's another kicker: Randy has a taste for meat. Obviously, I give it to him as part of his meal. He's a dog. He's an animal. So he has the bloodlust, if you will. Now, I save myself a little bit of time because, I needed to do it from the smoke in the kitchen because from the initial flames. But also because I know Randy doesn't like the sound. I don't know why. It's unpleasant to him. I turn the fan on. The oven, the fan above your stove. I turn that on, open some windows to clear out the smoke, and I know that's going to give me a little bit of time to do some cleaning outside on the floor and around the cabinets and stuff because Randy doesn't like the sound of that. So he ran away. He went over to the LPDS office, to his bed in there, to go hide out for a little bit. He's a fake tough guy. I love him, but he's a fake tough guy. So now I'm cleaning up the floor. I'm sponging up, paper toweling up all the oil. It's still hot though, so it's still kind of burning even through the gloves a little bit. I'm still trying to get it all out, and then I pull the drawer out, and it's just burger meat and grease inside the drawer. Every single additional pan is greased up and burgered up, so I got to separately clean each of those because I can't fit everything into the dishwasher. Pull the pans out. I got to clean underneath the oven now, but not touch the oven because it's still hot underneath and all that crap. So I'm doing that. I finally get it to the point where the oven is now cool enough to the touch. So I got to pull the grates out, get those cleaned. Then I have to take the bottom portion of the oven out. This is one thing I actually hate about ovens now, is there's so many parts to it. In the inside of the oven is not just a solid inside. They have venting systems and whatever. And so it's screwed in. So I have to unscrew. I have to make sure it's cold enough, cooled down enough to unscrew the bottom portion, to lift that up, to clean that separately, and then to clean underneath that. And a lot of that grease just got sopped up in the insulation foam that they have in there. So that was a nightmare. And then, of course, I had to claw through in between the door and the oven to get all the beef out. I slop that into the garbage. And then the kitchen got clear of the smoke, so I turned the fan off, and now here comes Randy. And Randy likes to sneak licks and tries to sneak little pieces of ground beef that are around the floor and the crash site. So he's hiding behind the island in the kitchen. I'm by the oven, obviously cleaning up, and then he goes around the left side of the island to go sneak licks of the grease and beef that's on the drawer that I put out there to clean separately. So I have to clean. I have to look at him and stop him from licking so he doesn't get sick from too much grease. But I have to make sure that I'm cleaning up the stuff I soaped up before it coagulates again. So I'm soaping areas. I have to wait a certain amount of time to clean it off. Once it emulsifies the fat from the door and from the other stuff, I gotta wipe it down with paper towels and stuff. But if I wait too long, it starts to congeal again. It gets stuck, and I have to redo it again. So I'm timing, cleaning, getting Randy, cleaning, getting Randy, sponging, getting Randy, soaping, Randy, cleaning, Randy, paper towels, Randy, pulling out beef frag everywhere. And as I'm cleaning, I'm finding more and more spots where grease splattered in the deepest, darkest crevices of my kitchen that I didn't even know existed. But I have to, because if I don't, then every animal and bug and insect will infiltrate my house. And you already know this is wartime with the bugs. This is the time of year where we're at constant battle with the bugs. So I'm already dealing with fruit flies in my kitchen. Thousands of them I'm killing each day. It's like Vietnam. I'm just napalming them with different traps. And now I have oil. I got to find secret little food supplies that I have to cut off so that they don't infiltrate and make landfall inside the compound. It was a mess. It was an absolute mess. And at one point, when I filmed the video, I had to put it out somewhere. I'm sitting here alone. It was just me and Randy. And I just start laughing. I'm just like, this is such an utter shit show right now. Luckily, it wasn't stream night. I actually made it a point because I was running out of dinner food stream night on, what was it, Wednesday? Not Friday. I said Friday earlier today. It was Wednesday. And I made it a point. I was like, no, I'm not gonna cook my ground beef tonight because it's gonna keep me too busy. I want to be early to the stream to make sure I'm troubleshooting everything ahead of time and I'm prepared. Thank God I did that, because I never would have been able to. I would have been over an hour late to the stream, and you can't do that. First stream and you're an hour late. the stream would have been dead. It would have been a dead stream. Would have had to walk away with my tail between my legs. So luckily I didn't do that. Man, this schnoz is killing me. I am sorry, guys. So anyway, I just start laughing out loud. Like I need other people to see this circus act. I don't even care if it's at my expense. So I made the quick video. I posted it on Instagram. It wasn't a brag. It wasn't a sympathy-seeking venture. It was like, look what I did, folks. Somebody else laugh with me here or at me. I don't give a shit at this point. I just couldn't do it by myself anymore. I couldn't laugh and experience this situation alone. I felt that was selfish. I needed other people to laugh at me. And it brought some levity to the situation as well. And I know that 10 years ago, I would have driven my car through my house. I would have been so mad. It would have been the end. If that happened to me 10 years ago with my lack of maturity, I'm a little bit more mature now. Maybe 15 years ago. I've grown. But I would have been in absolute shambles. The world would have been over. I would have texted everybody and said, what a nightmare this is. Feel sorry for me. I can't do anything for the rest of the month because I'm going to be dealing with this trauma now. And I would have set the house on fire and tried to collect insurance as opposed to cleaning it because it would have been too overwhelming. I would have been thinking to myself, how do I fix this? I can't. So I just had to burn the house down. But not now. So I just laughed about it. Because it was a funny situation. Nobody got hurt. The house didn't burn down. Randy didn't get sick. Nothing bad happened. It was just a funny, like, of course this is going to happen. Of course the pan decides to break now. Let's press. Let's figure it out and move on. And that's what we did. An hour and 40 minutes it took me to clean. And you guys know me. You guys know that when I get in the zone of some stuff, that's all I'm focused on. 100% I'm obsessed with it. And I'll get stuff done fast because of it, because I'm just locked in. And I was locked into this whole situation because it had to get done. It wasn't one of those where it's like, I could do it later after. Oh, let me go shower and watch a show and cheese up or whatever. It was like, no, I have to get this done. There's grease everywhere. There's burger frag everywhere. So I had to get it done. Still took an hour and 40 minutes. I put on some Creed. I had the big four on repeat, and I just powered through an hour, 40 minutes straight of cleaning. I went through a roll and a half of paper towels, a bunch of Dawn soap. Thank God Dawn has figured out the chemical formula to clean off oil from ducks and burger grease from ovens. This is going to be a nightmare episode to edit because of all the stoppage for the allergy stuff. So again, I'm sorry. I hope it's a decent product. But anyway, we got it done. It was a funny situation. It was a laughable situation. I couldn't even get mad at it. At first I was frustrated, like, God damn it, I just made all this food for nothing. But I saved a bunch of it. More than enough for the week. So I'm still good there. Got some from Randy. Everything was fine. Nothing blew up. Nobody got hurt again. It was just funny. It was just like, of course, a Thursday night. This is exactly what I want to be doing. I could have been hitting sticks. I could have been watching Reach Daddy. Speaking of which, I wanted to talk about this earlier, but I forgot for some reason. Alan Richson, Reacher, he had the whole fight with the neighbor. It'll probably be old news by next week, but we can always talk about that. I am tracking the Alan Richson fight with his neighbor and how he beat the shit out of the guy for assaulting him, and he was just defending himself in front of his kids. So, long story short on that, I'm obviously pro Reacher, and I assessed the situation, analyzed all the information there, and I'm still siding with him on that. So don't come at me for that. I'm pro Reacher, pro Alan Richson. Anyway, that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to watch Reacher on repeat or an Alan Richson movie so I can get motivated to get big, watch Rocky, hit sticks with the pals, watch baseball if it was on, anything else. I said I was sitting there scrubbing. I had a mop up some of the grease even further. to prevent Randy from licking. Luckily, Randy actually helped out a little bit. He didn't even realize it. He would start licking random portions of the kitchen. That's how I knew that's where grease splattered. So I would go in and I would cordon off that area, and I would find a new spot to clean and make sure that we got a clean situation. And it looks like I got everything pretty decently clean because I used the oven again later on, and it didn't catch any grease fires or start any fires in there. So I think I got all the oil and grease and fat and stuff. So I think we're okay. So anyway, there was a lot of stuff that we could have talked about this week, but once that happened, I had to share the ridiculousness of it all so that we can all laugh a little bit together. I know this story sucked. I could feel it in my bones that the telling of this story sucked because my head's not in it. My head's in the clouds with the pollen right now. I couldn't even go mow my lawn today. It was supposed to be lawn mowing day for me, which I enjoy doing. I like being outside, getting a tan, doing some work out there. So maybe tomorrow I'll get to do that. I have to do it now because I think next week is Easter's. And I'm going to be out the day before. I'm going to be cooking some stuff and baking some stuff. And then I'll be up in Austin with some family for Easter's Sunday afternoon. So I can't mow the lawn then. This might be the first time in a long time that we're ahead of the curve at the LPDS when it comes to talking about holidays, announcing holidays. I'm usually a week late. But I think Easter's is coming up next Sunday or this Sunday, but whenever you guys listen to this. So if you celebrate Easter's, happy Easter's. If you don't, well, happy Sunday. And there will be obviously an episode dropped. I'll record that beforehand, obviously. So it's really cutting into my lawn mowing time. I don't mind cutting into that time for the LPDS, obviously. You guys are my ride or dies. The universe always. LPDS universe for life. But that's what happened to me. That was the exciting stuff this week. I wanted to spend most of my time talking about the stream and how much fun it was and get your feedback and your take on what I can do to improve and how we can make it better moving forward. But we'll get to that on the stream. You can do that on the stream too. You can leave your comments in the chat. Again, that's going to be Friday, April 3rd. I think that's what that Friday is. It's the home opener, Yankees Mariners, I believe, afternoon game. So I got to plan my workday around that. We'll get that figured out. It'll be a good time. I had a lot of fun doing it. So I would love to have more time to be able to put out like sizzle reels and clips from previous streams to get eyeballs out. I'll try to do that as best I can. It's just very tough right now with my time. As far as what I'm budgeting my time for, Spearhead is the priority, obviously, so that I don't have to do my part-time job anymore. So stay tuned for more from the stream side of house. But yeah, buried in beef. And that's all I got to say about that. Before we go, very quickly, the big three, the three pillars to staying strong and being a better, happier, kinder, healthier, less stressed, more genuine human being, being able to spread that positivity and goodness to all those around you throughout the land. Number one, exercise every day. Do something every day to improve your health and fitness physically, mentally, or emotionally. Number two, the hardest one to do, don't be a shitty negative person, be a kind person. When the opportunity arises to be negative or shitty to somebody, even when you think they deserve it, even when it's easier to just sit in the negativity, take a deep breath, take the LPDS step back, detach from those negative emotions, and remove yourself from the situation. Put your phone down, take a walk, close your laptop, whatever it is, because that will minimize the negativity going on in your world and the world around you and allow yourself the capacity to go focus on more positive, productive things with your lives, like exercising every day. And number three, the most important one, be genuinely thankful and grateful for all the good you have in your lives. And you can do this each day by taking a few seconds and thinking about one good thing that happened to you in your life or something good that happened to you in the last 24 hours and thinking about what your life would be like without that experience or that thing or that person or whatever. And that will immediately put you in a state of gratitude. You could feel it like emanating through your body, almost like you get tinglies a little bit. And the more you're in that state of gratitude, the easier it will be to get out of the negative, to not be a shitty person, which will in turn give you more time to go focus on more positive, productive things with your lives, like exercising. And if you do these 3 things a little bit each and every day, repetition, 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 I promise you, you'll be a better, happier, kinder, healthier, less stressed, more genuine human being, be able to spread that positivity and goodness to all those around you and throughout the land. Thank you guys again for tuning in. Don't forget to like and subscribe and put your notifications on and tell your friends and enemies, and be on the lookout for the future streams, and hit that hotline 202-670-1114. Give me your stream ideas, questions, comedy routines, prank calls, whatever you want. Give it to me in the hotline. I love the hotline. Miss the hotline 202-670-1114. Thank you guys again. I love you all. Stay strong.